Hello, this is Mark Sorrell with Plan Vision, and my review today is on the difference between mutual funds and ETFs. And as I work with my clients, for many of them, this can be an area of confusion, and that's somewhat understandable if you don't have experience with these kinds of products. So I'll try to explain the distinction between these two and how they're similar as well. Mutual funds have been around a lot longer, started in the 1920s in the States. Essentially what a mutual fund is, it's a collection of stocks and bonds, or maybe a collection of both stocks and bonds, and they can include different stocks and bonds of all types, from the US, from around the world, big and small companies, really include a wide array of any kind of stocks and bond. And the benefit that you get from using a mutual fund is that it will help you diversify and introduce real simplicity into the management of your investments. In fact, I use a Vanguard target retirement date 2045 for all of my investments. Another area of a characteristic of a mutual fund is the management style. You can use or invest in an index style mutual fund, which is typically low cost and sometimes very low cost, and have more of a passive approach to the construction or the selection of the stocks or bonds. Or you can use an actively managed mutual fund, and they typically come at a higher cost, and they are more engaged in the process of trying to pick and choose what they believe to be the best stocks and bonds for your portfolio. A key component of a mutual fund is you could only buy or sell it at the end of the day. So if you send in $10,000 to buy a mutual fund, it will execute the trade at the end of the day. And if you sell a mutual fund at 11 o'clock, it won't go through until the end of the day. On the other hand, exchange-traded funds, which I believe were established in the early 90s in the States, are in many ways incredibly similar to mutual funds. They're basically mutual funds that simply trade like a stock, which means that you can buy an exchange-traded fund at 11 o'clock and you can sell it at 11:05 if you want to. So you have the potential benefit, even though I don't see it as a benefit, of buying and selling the ETF throughout the day. I'm going to give you an example of a very popular mutual fund, and it's also listed as an ETF. And I'm here on the Vanguard website. They have 130 different mutual funds, and we'll go all the way down here to the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. We'll look at that as a mutual fund. And Vanguard offers 59 ETFs for US investors. And down here, they have the Total Stock Market ETF. So it's the exact same holding in both a mutual fund and an ETF. And here's what you'll see if you look at this. We'll go to Portfolio and Management of the ETF, 3,500 companies. You can see the asset size. And if we go look at the ETF as well, 3,500. All of this will be precisely the same. All the same holdings, all the same construction. If you go look at the fees, it's 0.04%. And the fees as well in this portfolio will be 0.04%. And finally, we'll look at the price and performance between the Admiral shares, or the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, as compared to the ETF. And these are the numbers here. Let's go see how the ETF did. For the 10-year return, it's 15.17%, and this is 15.18%. So essentially no difference. Now, if you might look at the shorter periods of time, you will actually see a smaller difference, to negative 2.22 to negative 2.17, but that's close enough from my perspective to not essentially make any difference at all. So you're basically buying the same product whether you buy the ETF or whether you buy the mutual fund. Finally, I do want to explain how you actually do buy these things. An ETF trades at a price. This is the current price for this particular ETF. And so there is no minimum to buy it. You just need $142 to buy this ETF, and you can buy one. On the other hand, if you're going to buy a mutual fund, many times they will have minimums. In the case of the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Admiral share, there is a minimum investment of $3,000 to get into that. Other than that, you're basically buying the exact same investment. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you.